A very good evening all. I'm Aditi Lamba and this is Wednesday night edition of Vision of Asia. Our daily South Asian news segment is actively participating in all activities which present South Asian American perspectives nationwide. So do stay tuned on to Vision of Asia every Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern and Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern. It has been quite an eventful week here with much discussing politics, culture and international relations. Again, we'd like to open up our platform now for comments on pertinent issues for South Asian Americans. We are reaching out to political commentators, immigrant advocates, as well as non-profit executives to share your views with us on immigration, impeachment, election 2020, and community organizing. Email us on events@itvgold.com. And highlighting now top stories impacting all Americans, a quick update here on the ongoing U.S.-Iran escalating issue really concerning members all across the nation. Today, President Donald Trump addressed the nation on the ongoing tensions between Iran and the United States post the U.S. drone strike against Iran, which killed top Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani. Iran launched missiles towards U.S. troops yesterday at 2 air bases in Iraq as a retaliation. However, and thankfully, there were no casualties of U.S. troops reported. Today, the president announced that the administration will hit Iran with new sanctions in the wake of its attack on the U.S. military bases housing troops, as well as in response to its broader aggression in the region. President Trump said that early today, that both sides are looking to defuse the crisis. However, tensions seem to continue to affect many. Since President Trump's address the nation, 2 rockets fell in Baghdad's heavily fortified green zone, causing no casualties, according to the Iraqi military statement. There has been no immediate claim of this responsibility. The green zone is an area of Iraq's capital city where the embassies for the U.S. and several other Western countries are located. It was initially carved out of the central Baghdad by U.S.-led forces after their invasion of Iraq in 2003 and is largely viewed as a safe location despite frequently being targeted with rocket attacks. Here's to hoping that the situation can find a way to de-escalate, and we hope that the safety of thousands of U.S. troops that are serving in the Middle East stays intact. Send us your comments on the issue and much more on events@itvgold.com. We will continue to present you more updates on ITV Gold, but it's now time to begin tonight's segment of South Asian News. Let's take a look at the headlines. Political commentator Vibhuti Jha on Citizenship Amendment Bill at the ITV Gold studio. Edison Township Council and Board of Education host 2020 swearing-in ceremony in New Jersey. This and a lot more on the other side of the break. Stay with on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be right back. Welcome again. I'm Aditi Lamba and this is the Wednesday night edition of Vision of Asia. Let's begin tonight's story taking a look at some updates coming in from New Jersey and all the works that reflect a full participation of South Asian population which resides in the state. Recently, the Edison Township Council and Board of Education held its 2020 swearing-in ceremony at the Edison Municipal Complex, a township which has the largest number of South Asians living in a township in the U.S., adding much into New Jersey's strong and diverse fabric. The event saw council members Joseph Coyle and Ajay Patil re-elected and sworn into their second term, and joining them were new council president and vice president. We are excited to announce that this year sees South Asian Americans Samip Joshi elected as the council vice president, a historic moment for Edison Township, where Mr. Joshi is now the youngest elected council vice president, and he hopes to empower more community members and leaders into advocating their voices while also continuing to support the works and efforts of the Edison Township in inclusivity and respect for all communities. Let's take a look at some highlights coming in from the swearing-in ceremony and comments. Here is the story.
I, Sam Joshi, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to the governments established in the United States, and in this state, under the authority of the people, and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of member of council, vice president for the township of Edison to the best of my ability.
I do so, help me God.
Hello, ITV. I'm so happy to be here right now. This is the reorganization for the council meeting. Edison, as you know, is the 5th largest municipality in New Jersey and has the largest Indian population in not just the state of New Jersey, but one of the biggest in the entire country. I have been working since I was 14 years old in Edison Township as an intern and then later as an employee. I'm happy and very humbled to be elected as your council vice president today. Thank you so much.
Edison is faced with significant challenges. Edison had 2 historically significant referendums last year. A $190 million referendum for schools and another for public utilities. The message of those referendums was clear. Our priority needs to be an effective tax-based stabilization, efficient government, and improvements to our overall quality of life. Edison wants to see ourselves move forward. We want to see our government working for us. I look forward to working with my colleagues to address this year's budget on these matters.
Hi, Assemblywoman Nancy Pinkin here today at the Edison reorganization for the new Township Council. We're very excited to have this event tonight. We are here with the 5th largest city in New Jersey, so a lot is happening in Edison. We have the first woman who's been not only on council, but Joyce Ship Freeman is the council president, and Sam Joshi, a young rising star in the Edison government, is sworn in tonight as council vice president. So we're wanting to offer our services to them to help them in every way, and we're very proud of them and looking forward to a united council.
The team that I am representing now, though, is Team Edison. I will not be afraid to make tough decisions to move our town forward in the right direction while trying to keep our taxes at a minimum. I want to reach out to the county and to the state to help us defer costs that drain our economy.
I would like to thank everybody who supported me. I would like to thank all the men on the council seat that they have moved further than the federal government because they moved me to the seat of being a female president among men. My
vision for Edison is that I would like to bring back jobs that have been outsourced. I would like to examine old warehouses, look for open land, and find areas that would help our economic growth so that it would not solely be dependent on taxpayer money. Look at the towns that surround us. They are developing projects that help defray their costs. We need taxpayers to be all right with the way their money is being spent.
This is Councilman Ajay Patil. Thank you, ITV Gold, coming here and covering the reorganization meeting of Edison Town Council. Tonight is an historic moment. We got the first African American woman elected as the council president. I'm very proud to say because she was my team member. I was very instrumental getting her on the party nomination, and finally we made our way. And this is a classic example when we work together, anything can be achieved. Again, thank you.
I wish everyone a prosperous 2020 and looking forward to working with my newly elected and re-elected council colleagues to do the right thing for Edison.
Council Gomez, Joe Coyle.
There you go. We got Councilman Coyle here, newly re-elected. Congratulations, Councilman Coyle. And as always, we look forward to working for the people of Edison in 2020, brighter future for Edison.
And I'm looking forward to working with our new council president, Joyce Ship Freeman, our councilman, Ajay Patil, who's joining us right now. And it could be a great year of getting things done. Our mayor's behind pushing to get things done. We have to work to see how we can collectively come together to pass issues that need to be done in Edison.
We had a monumental day here with our Joyce Ship Freeman as our council president here in Edison. She made history for us here, and we're very proud of that. And I know that we're all going to be working hard together to bring Edison forward and help reduce our taxes here in Edison. Thank you.
My name is Suzette Price, and I actually came tonight to support my really good friend Joyce Shipp as she ascended to the council. And I was so proud to know that the council, her colleagues elected her to be a president. So she's today the first African American member of the Edison Council, and she's also the first president of the Edison Council. But while I was here, I noticed that the meeting was very exciting, and I really look forward to seeing great things in Edison. Thank you.
We have been presenting many views on the ongoing demonstrations and protests regarding the Indian government's Citizenship Amendment Bill. It has left various parts of India in distress, while Indian communities across the globe are also addressing concerns and comments. As being stated by the Bharatiya Janata Party under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the bill seeks to give a path to Indian citizenship to illegal migrants who are Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis and Christians from 3 countries, Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan, who entered India before December 31st, 2014. Critics of the Citizenship Amendment Bill say that the law is discriminatory as it singles out Muslims, who make nearly 15% of the Indian population, while the government continues to state that Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh are all Muslim-majority countries and hence Muslims cannot be treated as persecuted minorities from there. Critics have also stated that this is detrimental to many states in the northeast of India, where demography will change with the influx of immigrants. India has now seen a widespread of protests from all angles on this, while an international dialogue on the issue also continues. Thousands of people have been arrested in India, and reports of deaths in the protests in India have outraged Indian nationals all across. ITV Gold's in-house political commentator Vibhuti Jha spoke to ITV Gold viewers on his take on the Citizenship Amendment Bill and its impact on Indians internationally. Let's take a look at his comments.
Aditi, thanks for asking this issue, because it's very important, because by itself the act establishes one very simple fact, that Indians, Hindus, Sikhs, Christians and everybody who has an Indian heritage, if they are abused in 3 specific countries, only 3, Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan, if they want to come to India, they will be given some bit of a priority treatment in naturalization or giving citizenship. It doesn't talk about Hindus coming from anywhere else. And it is very important to know that the British took Indians to many countries, including Fiji, Africa, and everywhere where they faced resistance, they came to India. A lot of them. Those who could afford, they went to London or came to America. But a lot of them went back to India. So India is their natural home. So if you are bringing them home, there is nothing wrong in providing them security that, okay, you are welcome home. That is very important. It's not including the Muslims, primarily for one reason, but they are already living in an Islamic nation. So if you are living in an Islamic nation, you cannot claim religious persecution to gain citizenship of India. That is the only distinction. By the way, it doesn't even deny them. It only says stay in line. The second most important part of this entire thing is the fact that this is not against existing Indian citizens at all. It doesn't affect any single Indian citizen, be it any caste, religion, or any faith. So there is a misconception, and every Indian and every NRI should do only one thing. Just pick up the act. These days we live in a digital media. You can Google and get the act and read it. Educate yourself instead of getting carried away by emotional outbursts of vested interests who want to, dredge up an issue where none exists. That's all I have to say to that. Western media needs to sell a story, all right? India offers them all kinds of stories to sell. Let me share with you my first experience. Famous New York Times journalist John Burns, April of '91. I saw the first article I saw was he has written on page 3 or 4, a 70-year-old man from Rajasthan who had 5 wives, 60 grandchildren and whatever. And I asked, is this the only story worth reporting from India? And they said, this is the story that sells. So the question here is, the selling of a story, what one needs to know is a narrative created by the Western media. And I am gradually seeing that. Sometimes we are simple people, we read something, oh, New York Times said this, it must be right. But the New York Times or Washington Post writer is Barkha Dutt, who is absolutely anti-India forever since. Now, this is also in a clash of ideology. After as many years, thousands of years of being subjugated by the British and the Muslim rulers, for once, India is beginning to assert itself on the global frame. India is refusing to become a happy hunting ground for anybody to come and tell them about human rights, whereas they keep quiet when the human rights issue is not talked about in Pakistan or China or Middle East countries. I'm not against any of these countries. They are free to live the way they live. But don't tell me what you don't practice yourself. Preach what you practice. That's the biggest challenge with New York Times credibility. Washington Post credibility amongst the readers is dropping rapidly. It's not they being anti-India, it's they being twisting the storyline to suit a particular ideology. For example, they talk about human rights violation. Well, human rights violation, we know in the United States we pursue life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Without life, there is no pursuit of liberty and happiness. So if you are trying to protect the life, why are you talking about terrorism? The way religion is being treated. The West, on the other hand, is a common perception right now. Everybody has a look at this. The West is bending backwards to things Islamic ask for. So they ask for halal, they ask for Sharia, but they don't follow your law, they don't integrate. So the question is, if you are not going to integrate, why are you here? These are tough questions. We can really have a healthy dialogue on that. But you cannot treat me in one way or somebody else in another way. If there is one system, let there be, there is a higher level of integrity and honesty required at this point in time, which is missing.
See, Modi won his election in May 2019, and that was an overwhelming success. After he won the election, come August, first week of August, he gets this Article 370 removed. And pre-election, he had already removed Teen Talaq, whereby Muslim women were empowered, that for the first time they could not be scraped out of their house just based on Teen Talaq. So the Article 370 came with a big bang, and nobody thought that could have been done in the next 50 years, and Kashmir would become a union territory, so would Ladakh. And after that, immediately the Ram Mandir decision came, which has been hanging in there for the last 50 years almost. And the Ram Mandir decision said that this is a land for Hindus, and Hindu temple would be built in Ayodhya. Along with that, immediately after came this CAB, and the media had already covered in Assam refugee camps. These refugee camps basically talked about that if you are a Muslim coming from Bangladesh, Pakistan, or Afghanistan, which are Islamist countries, you cannot argue and get asylum based on religious persecution. Every other religion could get that. But that messaging did not get out rightly. People were already perceiving there is an anti-Muslim thing going on in the nation. The liberal media, the left media, and all the Western media had been already showing how certain people were being oppressed in Jammu Kashmir, how some people in Srinagar did not have access to internet, how some people did not have access to phone, how the political leaders were put in home imprisonment. So there were already all those things selectively which did not look right were being portrayed in the media. And comes the CAB without the proper messaging that we are only talking about people cannot ask for citizenship based on religious persecution. You can ask citizenship based on anything else. You can stand in line and get it, even if you are a Muslim, but you cannot ask it that saying that you were being persecuted on religious basis from these three countries because it does not pass the muster. It doesn't smell right. Those are Islamist countries. How can you be persecuted based on your religion? And this did not get out messaged properly. And it is the duty of all NRI Indians to be able to explain their friends, and because the devil lies in the details. And just looking at a 40,000 feet level that, oh, the Muslims are now being persecuted and they will be thrown out of India, which is the message that went out, is the wrong message.
Send us your comments on CAB on events@itvgold.com. After the break, we bring you 2019 in review. Stay with us on Vision of Asia. We'll be right back. And welcome again. You're watching into Vision of Asia. This is our another edition of Special Ongoing, a look back at 2019 in review, featuring top stories of South Asian recognition from the year 2019. Let's take a look at Mera India New India 2019 Grand Cultural Extravaganza and Expo, which took place in Edison, New Jersey, gathering hundreds of Indian Americans together to celebrate India's heritage and its reach. This was the fourth historic mega event organized by non-profit Friends of Gujarat, a leading organization in New Jersey which prides itself in presenting annual events to produce innovative and interactive venues for Indian Americans and Indians from all across the globe. The 3 days grand event saw many speech addresses, keynotes, discourses, and much more to fully engage all in attendance with support of prominent Indian community leaders and several other dignitaries. Let's take a look.
Bharat Mata ki Jai! Hare Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna Hare Ram.
एक ऐसा प्रोग्राम कि जहाँ पे हिंदुस्तान का कल्चर हमें देखने मिलता है, और ख़ास करके हम हिंदुस्तान से इसलिए आते हैं कि यहाँ पर जो हिंदुस्तानी लवर्स है, अलग अलग कल्चरल प्रोग्राम्स, रिलीजियस स्पीचेस, मेरे हिसाब से ये बिल्कुल जागृत रखने के लिए बहुत ही ऐसा इम्पोर्टेंट प्रोग्राम बार बार होना चाहिए, हर लोगों को साथ देना चाहिए। अगर हम हिंदुस्तान से आके अगर ये करते हैं और आप यहाँ बैठ के उसको एंजॉय भी करते हैं, मुझे लगता है कि ऐसे प्रोग्राम में हर हिंदुस्तानी का सपोर्ट है और हर अमेरिकन उसे प्यार भी करता है।
Thank you very much for covering us by ITV. First, congratulations to ITV to supporting us, as well as entire Indian community supporting us. And as a lot of people are here, they are enjoying, and everyone is joining with us and they're supporting us. And thanks for again supporting everyone to the Friends of Gujarat. Thank you.
And another great event of South Asian culture and representation was presented by the Sikh American Veterans Alliance, SAVA, in New Jersey. Founded by Lieutenant Colonel Kamal Kalsi, the first Sikh American to have received religious accommodation in the U.S. Army, SAVA works with policymakers and community advocates to make sure every person who meets military standards, including religious Americans, has an opportunity to serve without sacrificing or diminishing their core tenets of their faith. At the popular Princeton University in New Jersey, SAVA presented Sikh Arts and Film Festival 2019. It included a series of short films that explored issues of identity, freedom, and heritage while also promoting equality, inclusion, especially focused on the contributions of Sikh Americans.
Is to create these scholarships into leading film schools so that mainstream American students can produce Sikh-centric documentaries. The films today you are seeing, they have been produced by Sikh-Lens under the Scholarship Project S and Destination S program by the students in leading film schools. They have subject matters ranging from Sikh heritage, culture in Australia, then stories from Pakistan, stories from India, stories from England, stories from US, showcasing the Sikh diaspora around the world.
And so these films are used as pilots. And so even if you have ideas, share those with us. We could definitely try to put them into films.
Out an old trunk, and they had hung this khaki tunic up on the wall. So I looked at it and I said, that looks like a uniform. I said, whose is it? And they said, oh, that was your grandfather's. I said, what did he fight in this? He fought in World War I. I said, oh wow, World War I.
I learned so much through all these documentaries, learning more about Sikh heritage and Sikh culture and kind of what the values were that Sikhs before us for generations stood for. My personal favorite movie was Asia and the Great War. I learned so much about how Sikhs went into World War I and how they were actually not really recognized for so many years. But it's great that these documentaries are being made so that we can all learn so much about the Sikh heritage in the past. Thank you so much to ITV TV for coming here.
It's time for a short break on Vision of Asia, a special look back at 2019 in review. Stay with us, we'll be right back. And welcome again, you are watching Vision of Asia, and this is our special edition of a look back at 2019 in review, bringing to you our last take on top stories from last year. Reflecting back on the entertaining and embracing events which took place, let's take a look at the very successful stand-up comedy show produced by Mona Sheikh from Minorities Reports, titled Desi Girls Night Out, which was held in New York City. Featuring popular Indian and Pakistani female comedians, the sold-out show was a fun and entertaining event encompassing strong voices from the community. The comedy show featured comedians Shazia Mirza, Ayana Duki, Carmen Naidu, and Nadia Iqbal along with Mona Sheikh. Let's take a look.
Progress. Hi, my name is Nadia Iqbal, and I'm a comedian performing tonight for Minority Reports.
So the thing is with online dating, you'll do this thing where you'll like get a guy's number and then you'll text each other and then they'll be like, hey, how are you? And you're like, I'm fine, how are you? Even though like I'm having an existential crisis, but whatever, we don't know each other yet. And then you just never talk to each other again. So on this one occasion, this guy randomly messaged me asking me to read his blog post and give feedback. And I was like, you know what, I'll bite because one, I hate myself, and two, I like being mad. So this guy's blog post was having standards, or like, yes, having standards will help you control your emotional attachments. No one in the history of the world has ever used a bar graph to show a correlation. Another thing.
And this is all for the show for the night. Remember to send us your suggestions and get your voices and organizations on our show. Email us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on Facebook @itvgold. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for free access to many of our popular shows. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is Vision of Asia, and I am Aditi Lamba. Take care and be well.